out here at the Everything Electric show. And of course, we're talking all sorts of things EV, but what we're also talking about is wheels, because wheels they're not just pretty, they can serve a purpose. You can also get lousy ones, and I wouldn't worry about it too much. Your car will stop eventually, but we'll get to that too. I'm Brian, welcome to Future Oza. I've got Ian here, Ian from Fast EV. They make wheels that go real fast. Well, I mean, it's a great name for a company, but the idea is you've got a variety of wheels on display. Why? I mean, a wheel's a wheel, right?
You'd think so, yeah. The number one question we get at the show is, well, why do I need a special wheel for my EV? And it all has to do with the performance characteristics of EVs. Like we all know they're super efficient. You know, for the amount of energy you put into the car, you get a tremendous amount of energy out of it. But the reverse of that is true. If you ask the car to do more work, you're going to decrease the range. So if you put the wrong tire on it, you might lose 3, 4, 5% of your range. The same thing applies to your wheels. A lot of people don't know that the wheel is a really key component. About 25% of the aerodynamic drag on the car comes from the wheels. So if you put any old wheel that isn't optimized to work with the body, you could lose a significant amount of range. So we've come out with a line of wheels that are aerodynamically optimized to make sure you keep that range. I mean, we're talking, could add 5% range. That's, you know, we're talking 10, 15, 20 miles, depending on the EV, of extra range, just having the right wheel that's lightweight and aerodynamic.
Now, if you want to look cool, you can look as cool as you want.
Sure.
You can go online and literally type in coolest rims available, and you'll find infinite variety. But what you may not find is ones that are lightweight, ones that are well balanced. And in terms of EV performance, it's not just efficiency, it's also handling the torque. It's also handling, in some cases, the exceptional speed. In many cases, it's handling the weight.
That's a big one.
It's handling the lateral forces.
Yep.
So there's a lot to it. Now, when I'm looking for a company that's got above average quality, one thing that I was surprised to learn about Fast EV is that you are an OEM provider to a number of brands. What does that mean?
Well, we have to go above and beyond. I mean, the aftermarket industry standards.
What it means is they are the supplier of the rims, the wheels, to the manufacturers.
Yes.
As in Hyundai,
Kia, Mazda, Mitsubishi, Infiniti, Genesis, it goes on and on. We build all of their factory-approved accessory wheels across Canada. If you walk into any of these dealerships and you purchase an accessory replacement wheel for one of those cars, we build those wheels under license for them. And we have to meet those super demanding standards.
So that's what that means is you're not just any company making any wheels, you're making them to exceptional standards.
We have to,
of both value and quality.
Absolutely.
And so when I mean, first of all, congratulations. That's a huge accomplishment. Now, we're going to talk real quick about efficiency. Now, I know there's a lot of people who say, I don't care how efficient it is, I'm taking my aero covers off because it looks cooler.
You can do that.
You can do that, and you end up with, you know, something that looks maybe like this. But this is punching air. This is dragging air. This is doing that. And then we'll look at over on this wall here. Talk to me about these and the history of them. How did this come to be?
Well, you know, I have to give credit to Tesla because they were the ones that really introduced what we thought was a good-looking, functional aerodynamic wheel when they came out with the original Aero wheel that you saw on the base Model 3 when the car was launched in 2017. And we took a look at that and we thought, well, we can kind of iterate on that. You know, why don't we use that same concept? You know, we were hearing numbers like that was boosting the range 4 to 5%. We went out, we tested that, we verified that that was the case, and then we did our own version of it, which is the EV01. That's the OG in this series. It's coming on 5 years now, and it's been a huge success for us. We're partial to the look of it. You know, if you prefer the factory aero, that's cool, but we wanted to offer something a little bit of a different look, but offer that same performance benefit, and we also wanted to make it lighter weight. We're proud to say an 18-inch, this wheel is 1.5 pounds lighter than the OE wheel, and it has a higher load rating, so it'll actually hold more weight than the factory wheel, the base wheel will as well.
Now, when you say 1.5 pounds, you're like, oh, come on, we're talking 6 pounds a car.
Yeah.
But that's not the weight we're talking about. It's the weight in the momentum because getting that extra pound and a half to spin and stop takes a lot.
Oh yeah, that'll multiply the effect a few times because you have to overcome that inertia, that rotating mass. It definitely has a measurable effect. Like we've had some customers come back and tell us, you're claiming 5% in the city. I'm seeing more like a 10 or 15% range boost because the wheels are so much lighter. On other cars where the wheels are even heavier, the effects are pronounced. So both having the aerodynamics and the lighter weight helps 100%.
Now, I was looking at your wheels yesterday. Let's go back over here because I was seeing some interesting shapes on the barrel. Like this one tapers this way. This one's got a more pronounced taper. And you were saying there were reasons for it. Tell me what those reasons are.
So what you're looking at, whenever you see this depression in the wheel, that's called the drop well or the drop center. And the reason you have that is you need to be able to stretch a tire that's the same diameter as the rim onto it. So in order to not rip the tire in half, you need this depressed area. So as the tire installer puts the tire in, it goes into this lower spot, and that allows you to stretch it over and pop it over the lip on the other side, because
then bring it back
in exactly.
So
and
it
then
seats.
It seats.
And then I asked, well, why isn't it just flat all the way across?
It depends on the vehicles we're designing it to fit. Like one thing you'll notice on a lot of modern cars, the brakes are huge. We're getting into bigger and bigger diameters of brakes. The calipers are all different shapes. So depending on the vehicle we're targeting, we might alter the shape of the barrel to fit that particular car. So each one's a little different. Something like our FCO4, our competition race wheel, has a very generic barrel that's got like the maximum amount of space here. Some of the other ones, like you saw that we designed, the 0G wheel, specifically for Tesla applications, has a different shape. So they're all sort of customized depending on what we want to fit them to.
And worth noting on a race wheel is that if you have more air than you need, air is actually quite heavy when you compress it. It weighs more than the atmosphere.
Yes.
Because it is under more atmospheres of pressure.
True. When you look at it over the wall, a wheel and tire assembly, even with a very lightweight setup, might be 50 or 60 pounds. So putting the denser air in adds some weight. A
inflated tire weighs more than an empty tire.
It's a fun fact. Yeah, a lot of people might not realize that.
But it's just air. Yeah, well, what am I forgetting to ask here? These are, I'm trying to keep all this interesting for you guys, but this is really interesting. Do you want more range? Because you got to admit, that looks great. You can get more range while it still looks good. A question I guess I had for you is, the Model Y is available with 19, 20, and 21-inch rims. Can you put 18s on it?
Well, that's a really great question, Brian, because
Thank you.
Technically, you can. They will fit. We have wheels in 18-inch that will fit. However, what we've discovered is Tesla is not very fond of this because they've only done the safety certification for the vehicle running with those three diameters. So 19, 20, 21. If you go on the vehicle service menu, those are your choices. If you put an 18-inch vehicle, 18-inch diameter wheel on the vehicle, you're now outside of their range. Now, we found each service center is a little bit different about this. Some of them are okay with it, some of them are not. We've had them tell us, like, look, if you run into a warranty issue, anything to do with hubs, wheels, tires, whatever, stability control, traction control issues, you come in with an 18-inch wheel, we might not want to touch the vehicle. So just be aware that you're kind of in a gray zone there as far as servicing and warranty when it comes to the 18-inch diameter on that.
So it'll fit around the brakes.
Yes.
But they are not happy necessarily.
No.
So contact your service center because the 18 inches in my opinion, don't look as good on the Model Y, but you will get more range. You will get better efficiency. Sure. I went with the 19s because they're softer, they're more comfortable, and you get more range. Those are all things I like.
Yes.
So I don't know, man. I don't know. I was wondering if the Performance maybe had bigger brakes that wouldn't fit as well, but it sounds like.
Well, we engineered a lot of our wheels from the get-go for the Performance model. I mean, it was very self-serving. I had one of the first Performance Model 3s to come into Canada, and I'm like, well, we got to have 18-inch wheels for this thing, to run in winter, and for competition purposes, it's the lightest possible size. That's what's going to give you the best performance in the track. So from the get-go, we engineered them all to fit the 18-inch brakes, and it's the same brake on the 3 and the Y within, margin of error. So they will work. We do have wheels to fit it, but it's that service and warranty thing that I just want people to know that, again, your gray zone, be careful.
And I would say, anybody out there, please in the comments, let us know, do you have experience with 18s on your Model Y?
Sure.
Because maybe there's like some setting that I've overlooked that I'm not aware of, or something that makes you say, definitely don't. Because I know people who've done it but but
Oh, yeah.
they haven't had service issues where
No.
it would necessarily come up.
It's not going to inherently cause a problem in the vehicle. We have lots of people out there who are running that size. I know it's a popular size for overlanders. Our friend TSLA
Oh, sure.
has 18-inch on his Y, for his overlanding expeditions. And it works great. There's no problem with it. But if something does come up, again, might raise a red flag. So we just want people to be informed.
Now, the exciting thing is, Ian is not here to sell me tires or wheels. Ian is here as the manufacturer representative.
Correct.
If you want to buy these wheels, what you can do is go to fastev.ca and find out who actually sells them. They are available at a variety of retailers across the US and Canada, or just Canada?
Well, we have brick and mortar stores all across Canada. We have about 4,000 different retail partners that we work with here. And we have many online vendors, so they can ship within Canada, and they even ship to the US. So if you're in the US, just click on the US customer button and we'll show you all the folks that ship to your area.
That tells me they might be available to get them in Mexico too.
Well, you never know.
Find a vendor, see what they'll do.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll ship. The exciting thing is, and because I know for a lot of people, even that price is too great. So what I would say to do is come to these shows. I'm going to hide the QR code here, blur it out if I missed it. If you come to these shows, you can win a free set. So that's pretty cool. That's why you need to come to these shows, is because it's exciting. You can win free stuff. You can get cool things, and they've tested them. They are more efficient, if efficiency is what you're after. But if it's just safety and performance, because you do want a safe wheel. You do want a wheel that's been tested and engineered and is up to the literal manufacturer standards for many car companies. What did we miss? What did we misunderstand? Huge thanks to Ian. fastev.ca. Check it out. Everybody else, like, subscribe, do what you do, and stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots when you get your own set of fancy wheels.